Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 10th Marion Town Council meeting. If we'd all stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the moment of silence. Okay, so get, are there any public concerns? Dick?
Yes. Linear trail.
Oh, okay. Linear trail. Anybody else? Okay. You may have some information on that coming. Is that at all related to? Okay. Okay, and then we have some special guests tonight. So we'd like to welcome Delegate Susan Krebs to the meeting. Thank you so much for coming, as well as Commissioner Doug Howard for coming. So thank you too. And then I guess we're going to do the minutes, accept the minutes from last meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, sir.
The minutes acceptable to everyone.
Yes, sir.
We get a motion to accept the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes of May 28th, 2013.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, everybody's in favor of that? Okay. The public safety report.
Timing is everything.
Would you like us to do something else first?
I apologize for the grand entrance, but we've been tied up, unfortunately, directing traffic as a result of a serious motor vehicle accident, closed down Route 32. But I'm pleased to say at this time, 32, both lanes are now open. So, but we're about to get stormed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, also mayor, council members. The public safety report this evening covers a time period that began on May 23rd and ends on June 5th, 2013. During that time period, our officers assisted the Maryland State Police, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, and the Howard County Police Department with 9 calls for police service outside of the jurisdiction. Those calls consisted of 1 DUI case, 2 motor vehicle crashes, 1 loud and large party, 1 assault case, 1 domestic violence case, 1 panic alarm, 1 warrant service for a wanted individual, and 1 theft case. Here within our community, our officers performed 19 special assignment calls. They consisted of radar and traffic enforcement in most cases. They also, within the community, handled 2 alarm investigations, 2 animal complaints investigations, 6 assist citizen calls. They had 6 narcotics investigations, all which resulted in arrest. 1 disorderly conduct investigation, which also resulted in arrest. 1 DUI case, resulting in arrest, 85 foot and community patrols, 3 motor vehicle crashes with property damage, 5 suspicious condition investigations, 2 theft investigations, 1 investigation in reference to our town ordinance as it pertains to door-to-door soliciting, 2 house checks, 3 assignments under the state and federal grant for highway safety and traffic enforcement, and 12 crossing details for 159 calls for police service during that time period.
Do you want to go on the door-to-door, Chief? I'm sorry. Chief, just to make sure people understand.
We've had multiple groups. I know here a couple of weeks ago, we happened to see representatives of Constellation, so we've been working with them. We always have the good folks from Capitol Meats that like to visit the community, and they're all from different distributing houses. So, you know, we have a constant exchange of mail. We certainly support the post office through those letters receipt requested for service of notification. But also, I know we had an exterminating firm, and we also, I believe, had a lawn care service. And actually, we had 1 individual who was rejected because it didn't meet the criteria of our ordinance. So
it's pretty easy to get a permit, right?
Yes, simple process, come in, you make application, you provide us with a photographic ID. I then actually run some checks on you to make sure you're the person who you claim to be, and you're the type of person that you would like to see going door to door in our community.
Great.
So, meeting all those criteria, we grant them, we have a running record of, and they're supposed to display them when they come to your door if you ask also. So, here again too, schools letting out, I know we see some summer employment, different groups come in selling cleaning products and things. So if anyone, certainly in the audience, or the viewing audience this evening, have a concern, pick up the phone, call us, we'll be glad to check them out. So
Thanks,
I know
Chief.
some of them can get a little high pressure, but then again, some of them selling good products are good folks. So
Great.
we handle them one case at a time. With that said, any other questions?
Any additional questions?
Hey, Chief, I participated June 2nd on Sunday. St. Joseph's Church had a little procession down here through Main Street. I want to publicly thank Officer Byrd and Captain Blair here for volunteering your time. It was a no-hitched event. So I just want to thank you for your time, publicly go on record and say thank you.
We appreciate it. Certainly we'll pass the word on to our staff. I mean, we've been extremely here busy the last couple of weekends. I know we had a poker run, we had the walk, we had the movies. I mean, there's been a lot of activity. So the weather's getting nice and the calendar's getting full. So hopefully we can provide that level of service each time. Hearing no questions, there was, I did receive one email. I think a couple of you have noticed that the format of the public safety report, I don't want to say it seemed vague, it's more generic. And what we had been doing was printing two reports, one that actually had more detail, more information, and it required us to print two reports. So we went with a more generic report we can send out to the elected body. We can post it online. We can also send it out to the media, and they can get a snapshot of those calls that I just spoke without, going into the personal lives and names of those people that we've made contact with. That may not have been for criminal reasons. So in order to protect everybody's rights, but also provide the public with information, that's why we've gone that format. And it'll be changing again because we're trying to change our reporting system with something that will be readable and compatible with the county system as time goes on. So work hopefully a little smarter, not harder, and we'll get through it.
All right, great.
Any other questions?
Nope, I think we're good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief, appreciate that.
Once again, sorry for being late.
And then I think what we'll do is move to the open session items, just out of respect for the guests that are here tonight. So, and then also while we're here, well, the one thing we will announce to thank the chief for the National Night Out. So in case you guys decide to leave, August 6th at Freedom. So mark your calendars for that. And then thank you, Chief, for coordinating to get a helicopter there for us.
We were very fortunate. Officer Fatetta reached out to some connections in Baltimore City, and they'll be bringing their helicopter out that evening.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, start time I think is about 6 o'clock. Should be setting down probably about 5:45.
That's pretty cool. Well, thanks a lot. I'm glad we're working together with them. I know it's been a little tough, so. Okay, so first in the open session item is recognition of Police Chaplain Bud Brown. And Chief Williams will present Reverend Bud Brown a plaque acknowledging his service with the Sykesville Police Department. As well as we'd like to thank you for all your service in town, 26 years at St. Paul's United Methodist Church. That's pretty awesome, so.
At this time, I would ask Reverend Bud. Reverend Bud has been my savior in several occasions. He has always been there. Not only for the members of the police department, but more importantly, he has been there time and time again for members of our community, during the hard times, when you needed advice, when you needed guidance. I was going to offer you a free get out of jail card. I didn't have time to talk about everything. Well, we've talked about our past.
I know.
They're quite colorful, bud.
Yes,
you're,
I know.
You're a man of the cloth, and I'm hiding under one. But with that said, I was, everything comes with a price, and I was hoping if that one day I ever got to the pearly gates that you would say, wait a minute,
don't worry.
Here's a pass for that guy. Let me in.
You're in like
So, and I want to share with you, this picture dates back to 1993. And do you recognize anybody there?
Oh, my dear God. Yes, that's
That may be the same jacket.
Well, you wear it well after all those years. That's excellent.
Yeah, I do recognize Lloyd Helt.
Yeah. So that is for you. And also, we're dipping back in the past. What had happened was the chaplain had a very generic police badge. And when I came on board, I said, well, you know, he is also a member of the auxiliary. He guides us. He's there to mentor us and help us, like I said, at troubled times. You know, sometimes we have to make, like this evening, I mean, tragic notifications to families, you know, when things go bad or a family loses a loved one. You know, I know we've called on Bud to be there, you know, with us during that tragic time, stand shoulder to shoulder and tall. So his performance as a pastor, as an active member of our chaplain, but I can't thank you enough. But the one thing that separated him, his badge wasn't like ours. Like I said, it was very generic. So I know, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I told Bud, I called him in, I said, I'm going to have to ask for your badge. And, you know, sometimes like he looked at me, I said, because I'm giving you a new one, you know, and the police ID. And we did. That was some time ago. I think it was about 12 years ago, Bud. And when we prepared a plaque, I wanted to make sure we touched on all aspects of our police department. The police department patch, your service to the auxiliary, and more important, the original badge that he was issued when he became
Awesome.
Very cool.
If I could please read the inscription, Reverend Roland M. Brown, in recognition of your years of service and outstanding accomplishments and dedication to the success of the Sykesville Police Department as our chaplain and our friend. Bud.
As unaccustomed as I am to speaking in public, let me just say, my wife and I came here 26 years ago. We've been married for 6 years. I served her church, married her, and the bishop made us move because. But we came here after being married for 6 years, and we thought we'd be here for 4 or 5 years. You know, Methodist pastors don't stay very long. But we stayed, and we stayed, and we stayed, and we stayed. And Sykesville, I didn't even know where Sykesville was. My father-in-law knew. He was a train fanatic, especially model train, so he knew all about Greenberg. He says, oh, you'll love it. And he was right. We were strangers, and you welcomed us. We were strangers, and you comforted us. We were strangers, and you asked us to help. I thank you for that privilege. And I came here a stranger, and I leave calling Sykesville my home. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Has something on there for you as well, so make sure you.
Get Bud to stand on the other side. Can you stay on that side? Make it
Yeah,
look
no,
easier.
this side.
Yeah, where she is. Yeah.
In 10 days, I won't be able to stay.
I know.
Around 20 days.
Are you gonna take a picture?
The mayor's ready.
I don't blame her for being elected. What I do on camera is not fair.
While she's doing that, do you want to let Delegate Krebs?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hi.
That was a great recognition. And you know, it is really unique to have a pastor stay so long in a Methodist church as you did. I wish we had had that same thing at our church, but down here, Sykesville has been so blessed to have you here as part of their family in the church community and also here in the town of Sykesville. So I want to thank you for your service. And it seems like you're too young to retire. You sure they let you out?
Please, no, please, I'm ready.
You will be missed. And Chuck is leaving at the same time.
Chuck retired in November. And I've had Errol Smith with me as our associate. And he has fallen in love with the town too, and it only took him 7 months. So.
Well, Chuck, it was the first person like 25 years ago I taught Sunday school with at Wesley Freedom, so he has a good voice. He's a singer.
Yes, he does.
But I want to just thank you on behalf of our community of Sykesville and the whole Methodist community and the town in particular, because the town is small, but we still have needs, and the need, you were always there to fill that void when we had it, whether we need pastoral care for our police department or for someone that had been arrested. Even though we're small, we needed your services, so you were always here. So I have a House resolution for you today from the Maryland House of Delegates. Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Roland Bud Brown in recognition of your retirement after 20 years, I should put 26, of dedicated and devoted service as chaplain.
6, maybe not.
Was it 20 years for the town?
26.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
20 years, no, 20 years for the town, probably.
This is for the town. Of your 20 years of dedicated and devoted service as chaplain for the Sykesville Police Department. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 30th day of June, 2013, signed by the Speaker of the House and myself. And now I hear you're building a new home, or buying a new home.
Yes.
And you can give this to your wife and you have a decoration for the wall. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Do you, I got a,
Move a little closer. Come on.
okay, hold it up, turn it up.
Oh, okay.
Where's your other plaque? Where'd you put the other plaque?
Captain's got it. You want to have that?
It's nice.
There you go, yes, Chief, you wanna get in the picture? Oh. And you can hold the platform, how's that?
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
You guys are covered now.
There we go.
The chief got one in Bud Brown.
Chief, smile.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Great.
Congratulations, thank you so much. Wow.
One more.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You
Thank
can
you
sit down.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service.
And
One
I
more
have,
round of applause for him.
Yeah, there you go.
I just have one more little memento for the wall for the town of Sykesville. This town, we've always known it's been special, but now you're officially special. And I have a citation about your recognition of becoming an accredited national and Maryland Main Street program, because that's a big deal. So this official citation says, be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to the town of Sykesville in recognition of becoming an accredited national and Maryland Main Street program, presented on this 10th day of June, 2013, signed by myself, and it is a huge accomplishment. We're really on the map now. We know we're special, but now we're officially special.
Right, right.
So whoever would like to accept this, thank you
Good,
all.
Ivy. Ivy, come on up.
Thank you for doing that. Hold up. Okay.
Very nice.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you so
Great.
much, Ivy. It's been awesome.
You should be sitting over here tonight.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yes, absolutely. So any additional stuff? Would you like to do any updates from now that all the fun stuff's gone, do you have any legislative news for us? Okay. Yes, yes, and we're all going to mention that as well. So Commissioner Howard, I guess you're up next. You're going to...
Thank you very much. I want to make it clear I come with no expressions of gratitude, appreciation, or anything else.
You got to have a plaque in the car somewhere.
Congratulations. No, that's, and we are very proud of our town of Sykesville. I do want to, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, congratulate Councilmember Ellis for your return to the council, and Councilmember Link, welcome to the council, and of course, Mayor Shaw, very excited about having you in that role. And I was very, very happy to hear that when you opened the floor up for any citizen concerns, that you were not one of them. So that's a very positive thing, I think.
At least this week.
That's right. That's good. That's good. You know, from time to time, every couple months, try to come down, make sure that in a formal way we have an opportunity to address any concerns or answer any questions. I'm very, very pleased and proud of the relationship that we have as a board with the town of Sykesville. It's an important relationship. There's an awful lot that's going on down here. And so from that standpoint, we like to make sure that that dialogue is left open.
And so a couple of things I just wanted to mention. Sorry. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. You know.
I think
Excuse
Chief
We
needs
should
to
probably
take
interrupt. I
action.
apologize.
I apologize. We're getting information now, there's been a tornado that has touched down in Woodbine heading toward Eldersburg. So we are now, it's going from a watch to we are under a warning, till 10 o'clock. So I want to make everybody aware of that at this time.
I'd like to be home with my family.
Is that a,
If you want to go, please.
Woodbine,
is
it's
it,
a touchdown, Woodbine heading toward Eldersburg.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Terribly sorry.
So how do you want to handle that?
do we need to seek shelter at this point?
It may be in the best interest to adjourn the meeting.
I think that would be the smart thing to do.
I'll be back.
Offer a recess.
We're gonna,
Motion to recess.
Chief, could you please let people know where we're gonna go?
Well, at this time, I'm going to invite everyone to the police station.
Thinks we're okay.
Motion to go into open session.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, we're going back into open session to beat the storm. Okay, so we were with Commissioner Howard. Unfortunately, we were unable to continue with that. That would have been helpful. However, I guess at this time, we'll again postpone the announcement so we can get some of the other business done, just in case.
It would be good
Do
to
you
do the
wanna do that?
personnel appointments.
Let's do that.
Okay, so
Most-
let's do that.
most essential
Personnel
things.
appointments, let's get the essential things done then. Okay, so we did have two public works appointments at the last meeting on May 28 in closed session. The mayor and town council made a motion to hire Michael Mushaw and William Sullivan as maintenance worker for the Public Works Department, subject to passing a background check and physical and drug screen with a pay rate of $11.42 an hour. So we wanted to announce that publicly. The town treasurer appointment at the May 13th meeting in closed session, the mayor and town council made a motion to hire Linda S. Quinn as the town treasurer with a pay rate of $25 an hour. Her start date is July 8th. And then one of the appointments I forgot to mention at the last, when we were doing the appointments, is the fact that I'll be serving as the town member on the Warfield Association Board. Oh,
Good
God.
timing.
I'm scared. Okay.
For other news sources, there's tornado damage in Sykesville.
Sykesville's a big area,
I know, I don't know if that is.
Thank you, Kelsey.
but thank you
We're okay for now.
to the media. It says check local media sources.
Yeah, that's what
Huh?
it says too.
Grab my iced tea if you're going back over
He
there.
said we're okay for now, and he'll keep
Okay.
us posted.
The public safety officer has said we're okay for right now, so. Okay, so moving along, and then Councilmember Link will serve as the liaison for the Historic Color Schoolhouse and Gatehouse Museum, primarily through her role on the HDC. So she's gonna try to, as per former Councilman Chris True's recommendation, to kind of keep plugged into that stuff. She's gonna keep us up to date with what's going on, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Both museums, good.
Yeah. And then also, Town Manager Dawn Ashbacher and Councilmember Link would like to disclose the fact that they have a landlord-tenant relationship that began before Councilmember Link was elected. So we just wanted to disclose that. We've checked everything. It doesn't appear that there's any reason for concern based on that, so we just felt disclosure was a good idea. Okay, there will be an employee appreciation picnic July 18th, 11 to 2 at the Townhouse. I think it'll be great if as many of you guys can come on out and show all the staff how much you appreciate them and kind of just come on out and have
It's a Thursday.
a nice event with them. I know I'm gonna make every effort to be there, and I wish it would be great if you guys could too. And then, okay, the MML dinner will be held next Monday, June 17th in Mount Airy. And that's going to be an informative thing, and I wanted to personally thank Delegate Krebs for her suggestion, really, to get the stormwater issue perhaps on our agenda there. So, and Dawn has helped, so thank you with coordinating, getting the Frederick County Planning, Shannon Moore, who's I don't know exactly what her title is, but she's kind of Tom DeVilbiss from Carroll County's counterpart in Frederick. So she's going to come. Tom DeVilbiss from Carroll County is going to come. And then also we have the Maryland Department of the Environment. I got his name too.
Costello.
What's his?
Deputy Secretary Costello.
Deputy Secretary from the Maryland Department of the Environment. And I don't have his name somewhere
Costello.
close. Costello, right, is going to come too. So that's going to be fantastic to get all those people, kind of give us an update on stormwater and how it's going to affect the town. Because it's
quick count. Who's coming?
It's going to be really important. Yeah, and then who all is coming? I know.
Come on, show hands real quick.
I'm coming.
Debbie,
Julia,
myself,
great.
Leah. Stacy, you coming?
Great, that's awesome. So we got some good
Everybody's
attendance. We're going to have it's going to be a big meeting. I think
Yeah.
we're going to have a lot of people.
Try to.
Okay.
I'm traveling that day.
Understood.
Yep. So
Dawn, you coming? Great.
So it's gonna be well attended, I think, and that's what we're gonna try to do too. I know we're meaning to get the appointments for the upcoming year for MML, but to try to get some more meat in the topics instead of just having it as a social dinner, to make it more interesting and more attractive so people will attend. Okay, and then we did already mention the National Night Out again, so mark your calendars for that, August 6th at the Freedom Fire Department, Sykesville Freedom Fire Department. And that starts at 6 p.m. But the touchdown of the helicopter, as you heard, might be a little bit earlier, so come earlier and watch it land. Okay, so then moving along, I guess the council committee reports. Did you want to do that next then, or we might as well run through those quickly?
Why don't we get through business first?
Yeah, just keep rolling.
Okay, well then let's do that. Let's keep moving due to the fact that this storm may truncate the meeting. Okay, so let's get to the Community Legacy Grant, and I think that was the next important item. And Ivy is going to present a request to apply for a Department of Housing and Community Development Community Legacy Grant to repair the old lights in the Townhouse yard and install lighting on Main Street. Grant is 100% reimbursable, and the application is due July 15th. And she's going to present the information for us.
As you know, each year we think about some ways that we could apply for a community legacy program through the Department of Housing and Community Development. 2 years ago, we received $100,000 grant funding to move and restore the 732 Oklahoma, which is now going to be the French Twist. This year, after several meetings that I've had with the Main Street Board and also with our town manager, Dawn, we decided that it was probably a really good idea for us to apply for funding for our historic lampposts out front and also for the lighting in the alleyway. With increased traffic on Main Street at night, with the ghost tours in the evening, there's going to be several restaurants opening up in the evening. We do have parking up here. I think it's very important that we have adequate lighting in order for people to be able to walk to the restaurants, walk to the parking lots. We are going to be having some more evening events. And after talking with the grant manager, she thought that this would be a great idea to apply for grant funding. So I'm asking permission to write a community legacy grant. I'm thinking that I'm going to write it for about $100,000. I'm still waiting for Royal Electric after over a week now to give me an estimate. They said that they have it, but they just haven't gotten back to me yet. So I would have liked to have that number for you tonight, but I don't have it for you tonight.
Okay. Well, can we get a motion to approve?
And also, this is what's called a reimbursable grant. It's not a matching grant. So all funds, we initially outlay the financing, and then we get reimbursed for it.
Okay.
I don't think we need a motion. I think we just need general consensus giving our approval.
Yep.
There's actually a resolution that the mayor will have to sign. Yeah,
Go
so
for
I
it.
think
I have
we
some
need.
spelling fixes in there.
So you got our hands on
Sorry.
it. Look out.
The very first line, council, should be capitalized. After the whereases, now therefore should have an E on the end of therefore. I was a little bit unclear in that section where it says hereby endorses the project in the area. I wasn't clear what in the area was defining.
Fifth sentence from the bottom.
you can just strike in the area.
Okay. And the next item down, be it further, need to switch the T and the H in further. And the very last line by order, you need to put the D in order.
When did you look at my minutes, before or after that?
After.
That's why.
No.
Got it?
I'll go do it.
Here, we just pass yours down.
Yeah.
We did that way. Just pass
So,
it
Ivy,
down.
so we have to pay for this first, and then we apply for the
That's
reimbursement?
correct.
And there's,
All community legacy grant
Is
grants
like
are
that.
like
There's
that.
no
It's
strings.
always been that way.
there's no strings attached, like it doesn't have to be, energy I mean, you know.
No, however, they do look favorably, because this is the state of Maryland, they do look favorably upon green initiatives, so I will be investigating that as well, possible a solar addition.
Great.
So we don't need a motion, or are we going to adopt the resolution? We do need a motion for this, correct?
Right.
Julia, since you.
So the resolution doesn't have a number currently, but are we going to just go ahead and put this resolution then, add a number to it, or?
Yeah.
Julia's gonna.
Okay,
make-
sequential number. Okay, so you're going to make the
I make a motion to adopt the resolution for the community legacy grant with the changes noted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good. Motion passed. We're
Thanks,
going to
Ivy.
adopt the resolution.
Thanks, Ivy.
Thank you, Ivy, that's awesome. Yeah,
Thank you.
Excellent
That's
job.
going to be great. Okay, moving right along. So, all right, so next is the State Highways Administration SHA Recreational Trails Grant. So this may tap into the linear trails. Is this at all related?
I don't know what Dick's
Okay,
question
we'll
was.
find out what your issue is next, but
We found an opportunity through the State Highway Administration to apply for a grant for recreational trail funding. We were very excited by it until Ivy had to notice that there was a limit of $40,000 on it. We were hoping to be able to do the entire linear trail, or apply for the entire linear trail. So as it stands, we would like to apply for this grant in the amount of $40,000. That would, according to Bob Bond, allow us to pave 2,000 linear feet, which will get us from the Grayway to Colorama, which is the worst section right now.
Cool.
However, there is a 20% match by the town, so that 40,000 will be getting 32 from the state, and we would have to provide 8 matching funds.
I personally think that's a pretty good deal. But
Chris has a question.
Chris has a question.
Chris?
Is that keeping the same width of the path, or are you going to increase it to 6 feet?
I forgot to mention that.
I was going to ask that.
Bob estimated 6 feet. I'm not sure we have to go 6 feet. I think 5 or 6 feet is ADA compatible, is what we had been told, but we'll verify what that is, and yes, we're going to widen it.
So do you think that would,
any other
even if
questions?
widening it, like putting down the rocks and whatever, that'll be okay? You'd be able to pave that whole way, what you're thinking?
Yeah, he estimated it with the 6-foot width.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Dick, did you have a question?
Say, part of what I wanted to talk about is the paving. Okay. So, that part is this. Repaving sounds like paving over the top and maybe widening it. But I walked it yesterday, by the way, coincidentally. But there are places where constantly, because of the way the hills are, the water runs across, and the repaving is going to be very difficult to keep in place, or even do, until some drainage is put in from one side of the trail under it to let the water run out. It's just not when it rains. Like, this would be miserable today, but after rains, days after rains, the water runs out of the hills and just lays there on the path. So if you want something that's going to last, I just recommend that someone also look at the cost of putting in drainage. There's at least 3 places from my house down, and at least 3 more going up towards the other end of your repaving. You're not paving where I live, but from Gray way up, there's 3. So look at drainage, please. That's part of what I want to say.
Okay, so on this topic then, do we have a motion to,
I make a motion, we authorize us to apply for this grant in the amount of $40,000 with the town matching $8,000.
Where would we be matching from? What fund would we match from?
good question. So would that be coming out of Parks and Recs funds? I mean, or, which is basically the town's funds, or would that be coming out of the general funds?
It would be general funds.
General funds.
Parks and Rec doesn't have that in their budget.
Okay.
Well, I think since the application's due July 1.
Yes.
We apply for the application.
See if we get
if accepted, then we address
where the funds come from.
Because by then we'll be further into the budget year and we may have money we can move around at that point.
Okay, good idea.
Well, that would be the beginning of our budget year.
Well, no, that's when it has to be applied for by July 1.
It has
We
to
may
be
not hear
applied
it
for.
a month.
So, I mean, so if we get approved a month later,
No, it's,
it's automatic?
no.
It takes
The
a
approval,
while.
yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Oh,
I
we're
wanna
talking a couple
say-
of months
I
then?
want to say
Oh,
October.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember a fall of 2013 will be notified concerning awards.
So that would fall would likely be maybe notified.
That means winter.
Yeah,
Which we wouldn't start till spring.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so the actual job might not even start till, depending on
Right,
the time.
till
so.
spring.
But I still think it's a good, it's a 3-to-1 kind of match, so I think it's a pretty good deal, so. Okay.
We've been turned down by the other grants partially. I think, this is the story anyway, that we haven't been able to use our funds at South Branch. So they don't want to give us additional money. So I think this is a potential good prospect to get a start at least.
Okay. Good. Well then, so any other questions? Okay, well then, now that we have a.
I'll second it.
On the floor? Okay, all right, then second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. So that passed. Okay, next is the asphalt overlay paving and patching bids. The bids to pave and patch some of the town roads have been received, and the lowest bidder was Craig Paving, Inc., with a bid of $171,768.20. A list of all the bids received for this project are attached. Bob Bond, town engineer, has checked 2 references for Craig Paving. SHA District 6 and Town of Walkersville gave excellent references. There was a lower bid, however, that was withdrawn. So this currently is the low bid, Craig Paving. So I guess,
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I apologize for not looking this up, but what is our budgeted amount for paving for
yeah,
this?
that's a good question. Were we wanting to do something, I thought?
Yeah, so the budgeted amount for paving only was $157,000. However, we added the patching into this bid to see if we could get a economy of scale to combine it all. So there was $15,000 that we did a reallocation earlier, so we would have a total of about $15,000 for patching. So the total of those two is $172,000. I will point out that the patching is in the FY13 budget and the paving is in the FY14 budget, but because we have the capital reserve, we can spend that money and repay it as needed.
Good.
Okay, so this is coming under budget and we're paving more than we originally planned to.
It's coming under a combined budget.
Combined, okay.
Yeah, so we're combining patching and paving, so
Correct.
in that sense, yes, we're coming under budget.
Okay.
We're a little over on the paving budget, but if we take the patching and combine it for economies of scale purposes, so yes, in that sense, we are coming under budget.
We're under by 230, so that's good.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the lowest bid with Craig Paving, Inc.?
Motion to accept the bid from Craig Paving, Inc. in the amount of $171,768.20.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
I think one of the, go ahead. I think one of the things the council's missing, and you may not have been aware of this when Matt was here, we asked to be provided a list of all of the bidders.
Right. like
That's good.
whoever they were sent out to, the request,
Right,
the
I'm sorry.
RFPs
Oh,
were sent
yeah.
out to, just so we can see.
Even if they didn't
Oh.
submit.
Okay.
It's once in a while, we get ones where there was one or two people responded, and it makes it look like one or two people, like sent it out to 10 and only 2 responded. So it's nice for the council to say, look, it went out to these 10 people, only 2 were interested. So we thought that was kind of good to have. And then maybe the scope, I don't know how interested the people are in the scope of the work, but I guess we can talk about that. I was thinking it'd be nice to see what the scope was sometimes maybe, but I don't know if that's too intensive for everybody.
Do you want to see the list of who this was sent out to this time?
I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, so we're okay this time, I guess. And we got a pretty good response to this one, so, yeah. So that's good. Okay, so that's taken care of. Okay. All right, so fiscal 13 budget adjustment. There's an update to the adjustment to cover engineering expenses based on the concept approved at the May 28, 2013 meeting. The final amounts will be provided. So I guess the recommended action is to transfer $1,000 from the contingency budget line, $500 from the elections budget line, and $3,000 from the insurance general property and liability budget line, and add $4,500 to the engineering budget line for a total of $32,000. I think we discussed this briefly at the last meeting too.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, this is just, we had a question about exactly how much was going to come from each line. This is the amount.
This is it.
Okay, so this is a
Thank you.
clarification. So do we have a motion to make those transfers? Or do we need to do that again?
Yes.
Yes. Anybody?
So moved.
So-
Second.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay. That one's good too. Okay, all right.
So,
then-
Mr. Mayor, I would like to, my agenda item, would like to withdraw that. We don't have, the numbers are not correct. I was expecting some finalization of numbers, and I want to have exact numbers before I come to the council with this proposal. So I'd like to just move it out to either the July meeting or August meeting might even be.
Okay, all right, great. So
Just
we're
want to
gonna
have
put
exact numbers.
that- Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
I was jumping the gun on that, I apologize.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, and then, so that takes care of those agenda items, and then, so we're gonna put that one on hold. And then,
sorry.
the council, okay, do you have something on?
I just want to make sure that we do get to the closed session items tonight.
Right, okay. So, the committee, council committee reports is where we're going back now to get caught up. So, planning?
Planning Commission did not meet this month, will be meeting in July.
Okay.
So I'll do the promotions committee, met June 5th. Just a couple of things, we're working on the chili cook-off and the fall festival. The big thing is, our next meeting is July 2nd, Tuesday, and we've moved the meetings till 7 o'clock PM from now on instead of 7:30. Go.
Parks and Rec, we had our movie on Saturday. We bought a zoo. It went very well. We had great attendance. Scales and Tails were there, as well as we had face painting, and they were a big hit. Everything was free thanks to our sponsors, and it went great. Our next event is Concerts in the Park on Friday, June 21st, and it's Tay Jacoby. Our next movie is How to Train Your Dragon on Saturday, July 13th, and the winners of our photo contest that ended on June 1st will be revealed during the pre-movie slideshow. And the next meeting for Parks and Recs is Thursday, June 27th.
Hey, and if you've never been to one of the Sykesville outdoor movies, it is awesome. It was great, great night. Probably had, how many people, what? Just under 200, 170 maybe. And it was awesome, beautiful night. The police were there. The train was there right at the climax. It was perfect. And the popcorn is phenomenal. So it was really great night. It was really nice. Oh, you did a great job. So for me, two things real quick. The Sykesville Military Memorial and History Walk continues, and hopefully we'll have the RFP or whatever is going to go out between now and the next town council meeting. So we've got a meeting, I guess, Wednesday that I'll be meeting with some people that Dawn has. So I'll be happy to do that. We still are in search of the big emblems. That's our biggest problem right now. The government says they don't do that anymore. So we have to find some vendors that will provide us with the 5 Department of Defense insignias that we're looking for 12-inch diameter that would actually go into the base of our star design, Mills Memorial and History Walk. So that's our biggest holdup right now. Other than that, things are progressing. I did go listen to a presentation and talk to the developer that's going to do the old Carrolltown Mall, if you want to hear about that at this moment.
Oh, sure, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, good. So, yeah, so that was neat, very interesting. If you're a big fan of Walmart, you'll love the new design over there. So it's going to be a super Walmart. They're taking it'll be the largest Walmart, I guess, in Maryland, on par with the one in Berlin, Maryland. Moving from the current design over to where the mall is. They're keeping 3 buildings there, the Wendy's, Bank of America, and the Denny's. They'll stay up, but everything else is going to be going down. We saw different design concepts that the plan will be. 4 different restaurants are planning to come in, but that's all in preliminary stages right now. But they have 10 businesses that have letters of intent to come in once this whole process gets going. They gave us different deadlines and stuff too that I can share with you. The old Walmart was the question that came from the council. He asked me, so I asked that. Walmart will not talk about the old location until they're 1 year out from moving to the new location. So everything's up in the air about that. The other location behind Home Depot and Safeway, where they were going to put them all originally, he says that they have 3 different movie complexes that are in the process of negotiating with them for that lot.
Wow.
So that's what's going on right now.
I think that's what's going to be missing. Those people are going to be rich.
So we'll see.
Movieplex.
Movies, I don't know about that.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot for meeting with them and getting the details on that too.
Sure.
That's pretty awesome. And then,
Great.
yeah, thank you again for the movie thing. I heard it was a big success.
It's huge.
It's fantastic. So, okay, next.
The Historic District Commission report is as follows. We actually had Pat Greenwald, our longtime chair, step down as chair, and she was replaced by George Carter, who was already on our commission. Pat, although she has stepped down, has chosen to stay on board as a commissioner. We welcomed our new commissioner to his first meeting, Matthew Olson, whom you appointed last meeting here. And we reviewed 3 applications about signs and 1 application about tree removal behind the new, well, I guess the new Beck building, but it's the church, the parish house on Main Street. Yes.
St. Bart's.
Yes, St. Bart's, Barnabas. And at that point, we didn't have any updates on the gatehouse, and we talked a lot about the plans for or the revised plans for the retaining wall at the colored schoolhouse. And our next meeting is June 26th. June 26th is our next meeting.
That's a Wednesday, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
4th?
5th. Wait, it's on a Tuesday, right?
It's usually fourth Wednesday.
What day are you looking for?
Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday, so it's the 25th.
Fourth Tuesday.
Thank you.
25th.
Yes.
So Stacy, you said the building that Beck's bought is what's going to happen there?
There's some trees behind there, a zillion of them
Okay.
actually, and many of them are very tall and are at risk for damaging the building should they
Okay.
fall in a storm like tonight.
Okay.
So he had to petition to apply to get the removal of the largest trees removed. The rest of them are not within our jurisdiction, and that was passed.
Okay.
What building did they buy?
The St. Barnabas Parish House on Main
Oh,
Street.
the
Right,
stone
Stone
one.
House.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Okay, great. Any additional questions?
And he hasn't announced what's going in there yet, right?
He has alluded to a few different ideas. I think he's looking at right now he's looking at an Italian brick oven situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I can smell it now.
Great.
That's awesome. Leah?
Main Street Board has not met since our last meeting. We're meeting not Monday the 17th, because that's the MML, the following day, Tuesday, June 18th, is the next board meeting. So I don't have anything on that, but I would like to point out there was a gentleman here in the audience earlier who left at our recess. He wanted me to point out, his sole purpose of coming to the meeting was the Maryland flag outside is upside down, apparently. According to him, it's apparently the gold bars need to be on top.
There's such a way.
Yep.
Actually, that was in rebellion to the taxing authority.
I promised him that he was heading out there.
Is it in rebellion to the county commissioners?
Yeah, albeit inadvertent. So, yeah, the stress. Okay. And the Warfield Board did not meet. There was no items for the agenda this month, so they decided not to meet. So we don't have any update for you on that. Okay, so that, I believe, concludes the open session items that I'm aware of. Is there anything else? Oh, the linear trail. I do apologize, Dick. Okay, so you wanted to get an update on that. Yep.
A lot of people don't think it's a park. It's just a walk. And if you look at the other parks, like Shannon Run across the road, and and so forth, all of them, I think are maintained very well for this town. They always have been. But the linear trail, for some reason, tends to be somewhat neglected. If you're not going to be repaving it maybe until next spring or later, you need to look at, see if it's possible just to put plastic pipe under the ground to keep water from laying on it, and the water brings with it mud, and so the trail isn't a very nice place to be. Second thing is, if you might want to think about putting a notice in the newsletter or a flash thing out, some of my neighbors don't even know it's a park yet, and so they're doing plantings in the yard and dumping dirt off the trail and dead plants. And I've talked to 2 of them, so that's just 2 more enemies I have. But I wish you'd do something about, re-notifying people it's a park, there's no dumping allowed. The third thing is, right at the top, right up against where my property is, where that side entrance is on Brandenburg Circle, there's a mole infestation, and they've gotten kind of tired of being there, and they're moving now up under the trail and up the fence line toward further up Brandenburg Circle. Let's see, what's another thing? Another thing is, this was as of yesterday. Well, these are sub things. As of yesterday, there was about a 4-inch diameter tree down on the lower part of the trail. I mean, right across the trail. It's a step over tree, but it's across the trail. And if the police were using their Segway to chase somebody down there, it's a perfect getaway place.
Near the pond? Is it near the pond?
Yes. Pardon me?
On the way to the pond?
Yeah. And the last thing is that over by the pump house, the sticker bushes have grown so far over the trail that somebody must come down, and you can see where a couple of them were hacked away, but they're still growing in over the trail. So I guess if we're going to have it as a park, it needs to be treated like one.
Okay, so just to be clear, so we're going to try to maybe consider putting a newsletter article in for dumping to just make citizens aware of that. Also, the moles you said were at Brandenburg and where?
At the entrance coming down off Brandenburg, right next to my house.
Brandenburg and Dick's house. Cross section.
Actually, it's trail in Dick's house.
Got it. Okay, and then there's a tree down on the way down to the pond from your.
There was yesterday. After today, there could be lots of trees down. I don't know.
I think we might have to do the news flash for the dumping, because the newsletter should be correct.
And then the last thing is, those parallel bars, Julia, the bars are all gone, and so there's just 3 posts standing there.
One of our goals is to get more fitness equipment on there if we can get grant money to do it. That was what the last grant we submitted had, fitness equipment and playstations for children along the way. So
that's a good goal. 3, 5, maybe 7 short pipe pieces could do it too.
Yeah, we'll look into that and see, and I do commend your efforts to try to get the grants on all this stuff, because it is important to try to take advantage of as many of these park grants as we can to help offset some of these things.
there is a gentleman who lives somewhere around that spring house who does do a lot of maintenance there for us.
Well, Spring House is up by Cara. He's
Right.
further down.
Yeah.
No, I know, but he was mentioning, weren't you mentioning the sticker bushes by the spring house?
Pump house.
Pump house, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, okay. Well, there is a gentleman who
Yes.
does maintenance for us.
Well, it's okay to recognize that gentleman as well. All right. Okay, we'll check into those and I'll talk to Dawn and we'll see, we'll come up with a plan to try to maybe get some of that stuff worked out for you. So thanks for bringing that to our attention. Okay, is there any other comments? Anything else? Well then.
We have an update on South Branch?
South Branch Park, no, not yet, and I think we're gonna wait until after MML. I did talk to Al about, or sent him an email, about maybe wait until MML. I wanted to kind of touch base with some of them, possibly some of the Howard County representatives, and see if we can get some new energy started on that end, to try to get additional funds, and then hopefully we'll have a little more update, I guess, on progress on our end, I think, by then, maybe?
We should.
Yeah, so.
I haven't heard anything on the playground equipment.
Yeah, where is that, how's that looking?
Well, first of all, our parks contact, her husband was in a serious accident, so she was working part-time, and so that cut down on our contact. The playground equipment, I'm heard from our contact, but he was waiting for one number and said he would be in touch early this week, so we'll see.
So hopefully that can all come together and maybe we can try to coordinate we'll sit down and get a plan together maybe after the MML meeting, I think, the convention. My hope is to try to meet with them and maybe set up some meetings, or arrange a time to get some meetings set up, something like that.
Right.
That was my thought. And then maybe be able to bring some progress from our end to them and then try to get some back from them. I did meet with the council, a couple of the council members at a legislative breakfast, and the response was positive from a couple of them to get some progress going. So I'm excited potentially about it. You know how these things are, but so could be good. So.
And who's heading to MML?
I'm going to the convention. I think Debbie's going.
Debbie's going. Stacy? No?
I am not,
Okay.
no.
Dawn's going. I think the chief's going. And I think we're going to get Ron to go.
Good, okay.
So.
And Ivy.
And Ivy as well. Yeah, Ivy's going to be doing the Main Street thing down there, which is awesome as well. So I think we're all going to try to pitch in and help her with that. So, yeah, it's going to be good. You're missing out. Okay, so I think that about covers everything. Is there anything else that we missed before we take a 5-minute recess for the closed session items? Anything else?
Motion for a 5-minute recess?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess. Are there any items,
coming.
real quick, are there any items we're going to be voting on for the public that they want to?
Personnel appointment.
So we may be voting on a personnel appointment if anyone from the public is interested in sticking around.
Hanging around outside.
Yeah, right.